Patterns are everywhere. These tiles on the floor make a pattern. Hello everybody, today we're making bold patterns with different directions of lines and shapes and colors. So I've taken curvy lines and I've split up into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different sections. This is a zigzag line. There are straight and diagonal lines. Here is a horizontal line, curved line, triangular lines, straight diagonal lines, squares, diamonds, wavy curvy lines. Again, this way and that way. And now let's play with color. So this is just my sketch. I'm setting it off to the side. Let's start a brand new one together. Grab your pencil. We're making bold patterns today. So let's play with line and color. Here's a brand new piece of paper. Start with, I've got a black crayon. I'm going to use crayons and mostly markers for this. So right here, I've got some space. Draw any kind of curvy line. And then here, draw a diagonal, zigzaggy kind of line. And then on the other side, you can mirror that a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect. Mine's not. And then over here, have another kind of curvy line shape. And then they blend together. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different segments. I can draw the wavy lines here. And they're all going left to right. So they're going horizontally, but they're curvy lines. Now I need a diamond shape with another hole in the middle there. This is going to work well for me drawing in color. It's going to be fun to look at after I've decided on my colors and colored them in. Now here, I'm going to do this a different way. I'm just going to start with, I know my orange is nice and bright, so filling this in. And if you want to sketch this first, I understand. Leaving that, but I'm drawing in between it, filling it in, because I'm making little boxes that are going to repeat into a pattern. There are my boxes. Do you see how I'm doing that? You can do it that way, or you can do it your own way. But this is one way I'm creating a bold pattern with orange and rectangles, and they're all going diagonal. Just sit down and concentrate just a bit on this. And these rectangles don't need to be the same size. I'm just keeping that pattern going. I can adjust them as I go. If that one's too wide, make it a little skinnier. Having a box start there, and then there's a box there, box here, box here, box here. That one's done. And then I can line this with a different color. Whatever you choose to put in your patterns, just make it different from one to the next, and that's fine. It's kind of fun to look at. This part might take the longest. I could have done circles. I'll try that on a different thing to show you. I don't want to get too confusing, so I wasn't going to add it into that part. So we're making bold patterns today, and part of that is my color and part of that is my line, and they come together like in a musical piece, the way instruments do. They add to each other. They support each other in telling the story of what's going on with these patterns. They're together in one purpose to make this picture. And so then I decided to just fill that part in. You saw me do that. I'm going to shift this box this way, have some space in between that's orange, And now, if I want to make life easier, I could just draw that and then have some separation between these shapes, which are rectangles. I'm filling that in, and I'm going to go over with a darker crayon to make sure that, or marker even, to make sure that things are filled in or the lines are nice and sharp. We're just exploring pattern, color, line, lots of stuff today that we've learned this year. The more time you spend on it, the better it's going to look, I promise. Art, music, even PE, things that you practice, you get better at, boys and girls. So that's why we always say it. You have to practice to get good. And so I changed this a bit to be more brick-like. Maybe I was hurrying. But I've still got a great pattern that repeats, and it kind of comes apart here. It looks like parts are even bigger. Coloring this in, I went orange next to that mostly. So that looks pretty good for there. Now, I'm going to fill those in a different color, and we'll do that in just a moment. Now I want to change this color from probably an orange to a blue. So let's grab our magic blue, and I'm going to, whoop, I grabbed yellow. That's not what I want, but yellow works for here. I can color these in, and I'm trying not to bleed into my orange because I don't want to ruin this yellow marker. The smart thing, Mr. C, would have been to start with the yellow marker, but sometimes we think on our feet as we go. Sometimes it's an accident, sometimes it's a great discovery. Depends on how you look at it, it's all framing. So, filling these in, I'm leaving a little bit of white because it kind of looks like it's shiny. I think that's kind of neat. Filling these in as I go. You see my hand moving down. I'm trying not to drag my hand into the wet orange marker. Probably did though. Also, things are drying, and this is coming along. This section is close to being finished. This will take you 15 to 20 minutes, boys and girls, if you take your time. It could take longer. I could come back to it and change some things too. But today, for this purpose, we're doing different colored patterns. So as I've got my yellow, I'm going to go ahead and put this in because it's going to key off of that yellow and keep it, have some kind of harmony going. It doesn't all need to clash. Some of it will, meaning it doesn't all go together, but there are different patterns, and that makes them bold when they stand out against each other. It's kind of neat. If you want, you can go in and circle these and then draw a little circle in the middle. I'm going to grab a different marker. This one's kind of worn out. Crayon does not wear out. It goes away when it's done. But here's a Sharpie. Ooh, nice and sharp. That's why it's called a Sharpie, like Mr. Sharp. There you go. Take the time. Draw in every box, put a dot. That creates a whole different rhythm than this. I hope you're seeing that and understanding that, creating your own patterns, having fun with lines and colors. It's a blast. If you have markers and crayons and paints and paper on a rainy day or a day that you can't go to school, this is something fun to do. Create your own patterns. I've got notebooks full of different patterns. I used to design patterns, and then I would stick them into paintings. If you come to school, you'll see some of my work, and I'll show you like the seahorse painting I have behind my desk that it has different patterns for the water. I was showing warm and cool waterfronts coming together. I I know, it's crazy, but you can talk about anything in a drawing or a painting, and I enjoy that. So this almost looks like crazy dollar bills or flags or doors with a hole in the middle or something. I don't know, but that's okay. I don't have to know what it is for it to be visually pleasing. This is just another pattern. It's fun to create patterns. Make your own. And this part's almost finished. I'm thinking about my next parts as I'm coloring this in, or lining it, surrounding parts. They're different. No two are the same is what I'm trying to say. Some are longer, some are shorter. It's kind of fun. So there's that part. And I missed this, but you know, that works. I have a pattern. I have these shapes. Those are rectangles with dots in the centers. This part I was going to do black and white, and that would be easiest with a crayon probably. I thought about blue here, so let's do that. So now I actually have a blue. Yep, that's blue. Going right next to that. So I want you to notice this color from orange to blue. Those seem to get along, but there are opposites on the color wheel, which means they're complements. They complement each other. Like if your mom and dad dress well together, they complement each other. Sometimes when we're all leaving the house together, I notice that my daughter and my wife are wearing something gray, and I'm not. So I stand out. Maybe I want to wear my gray pants today when we go out together. You know, it's just a funny thing that you might or might not think about. Color, how it's important in your life. Now, I'm using an indigo, like a purplish blue crayon to go on the outside of this marker blue that's kind of sketchy and not all filled in, but it looks kind of neat like this. And now I'm drawing kind of an oval shape, and I put a center in it, and then they're not very big, and that looks kind of cool. And I could color this part in with that indigo. And then that does it for me. That is a different pattern with bigger shapes than the last with that orange. It was pretty complicated. It took me a lot of time to do. And because of that, it's a lot going on. It's busy, and this is kind of restful. And I think I'll go ahead and use this to make a thick line on the outside of this. And it's pretty easy to draw a straight line if you don't go too far like Mr. C just did. Don't get too excited. Try to be in control of your body. It's your motor skills you're working with, so we're improving our fine and our gross motor skills, getting stronger, being able to do more things. Now I want this to be a different color because I want this to lift and not sink back down, but this does work here. And I can go up, push so hard I broke my crayon. I'm like rough on these things, but you know, I use them. And then I like this with the yellow, so I can take this and put a thin indigo blue purplish line around these. That purple and that yellow are complements, so they work together, and it kind of creates a weird harmony. They speak the same language of color together, and that's kind of fun. And this is going to be black. This I was going to use orange and yellow, so I'm going to draw my horizontal yellow lines like stripes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to do more of this because I like it. It's different than the one I looked at, and that's fine with me. I like making something new. And then this is orange, and I like that pressure next to that blue. And then I can do one on the bottom, 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 one on the bottom. So I've created a different pattern there. Do you see? Kind of fun. I left white. I like to leave that rhythm of white in between it. If I wanted to use my watercolors and blend that in, that would be great too. Now, I've got black. Let's see how dark it is. Not very dark. It's kind of gray. It's kind of dried up, but it's working. And then there's that. Make sure that I'm in the frame of the camera. Get carried away. I start talking. I might hide things from you. I'm not trying to do that. Not a deceitful art teacher. There you go. Now, that's not good enough for me. This poor old marker, it's lived a life. It's drawn a lot of pictures. It's done a lot of things, seen the world. But I'm going to rely on a black crayon because I want this line to be nice and sharp, and I want the color to be opaque or filled in and dark. Black is black. I want that to be what it is, not kind of black, kind of, is it there, is it not? Did you make a real decision, or did you just kind of, it's just there, just kind of phoned in? If you color it in dark, it's absolute. We know what it is. There's no argument that what you were trying to do. It's a decision to fill it in all the way. It takes work. It takes me a little bit of time also. If this video takes 10 minutes, you know the work took about 10 minutes. I'm doing this while I'm talking, but at the same time, I'm a pretty quick artist. I can fill things in. I'm looking at this and adjusting and revising and going, yeah, that's just not dark enough for me, so let me fill that in a little bit better. So I've got kind of a zebra stripe pattern there. I'm seeing that I could go a straight line, straight line, straight line, straight line, and this is on the outside of this orange, which makes this lift a little bit, which is different. I've got black, no black, black, no black, well, a little bit, and then black. So I could put a little bit of black in here, and then they're all kind of harmonious, kind of all working together, doing their thing. Putting this on the outside of this, because black and white are opposites, and they really look good together. Opposites do attract. And then I'm going to tighten up this line also. Whoops, Mr. C, got to make this thicker because you kind of went squirrely there. So there's another decision we made. Sometimes you hit a bump with your crayon and go a little too far, or push a little harder than you thought you did, and that happens. So I can leave that side the way it is, and today we've made a bold pattern with horizontal lines, curvy lines, circle shapes, square and rectangle shapes, or diamonds. We have a wavy, curvy line. We have diagonal, zigzag lines. So we've got 4 of the 5 types of lines. The only line we don't have is a vertical line, the straight up and down. We have horizontals. These do go vertical, but they're not straight up and down. None of those lines are in here. We have horizontal. Can you say horizontal? Horizontal. Curvy. Curvy. Circular. Circular. Rectangular. Rectangular. Zigzag. Diagonal. Negative space, which is white. Positive space, which is color. Negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. So all those shapes make up my bold patterns. You can use any colors you choose. You can use crayons. You can use markers. You can use watercolors. You could cut paper. You could try anything you wanted. You can put it together with hedgehogs if you want to. I'm kidding. Try to do your best to make a bold pattern, boys and girls. It's fun. I like to look at it this way, or this way, or this way. Or it could make a cool card, or I could make wrapping paper with it. You can do so much stuff with art. I can't wait to see what you make. Send me something cool. See you soon.